Hello, I am the H-Town Vet, and I would like to welcome you to our channel, a place where we will discuss a variety of benefits available to veterans and their dependents. Today's topic, the 5, 10, and 20-year rules as protected VA ratings. As a way to go into more detail on veteran topics, we have weekly live streams on Sundays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. But don't worry, we will continue to release YouTube videos between our live streams. Remember, here at the H-Town Vet, your opinion counts. So the live streams are designed as a way for us to interact as veterans and share information. We do not come together to see who's the smartest or play gotcha. Our channel is a place meant to share resources and our personal experiences. Here at the H-Town Vet, we don't see ourselves as experts, but facilitators. If you would like to get in touch with us or donate, here's our contact information. The protections for the 5, 10, and 20-year rules are based on how long you've had your rating and how those time periods protect you from being reevaluated by the VA. The 5-year rule. As a reference, the regulation covering the 5-year rule can be found in 38 CFR 3.327 Reexaminations. The 5-year rule protects veterans from having their disability ratings reduced after 5 years if it has remained unchanged. After a 5-year period, the VA can only reduce a rating if they can prove the disability has substantial and continual improvement. In addition, the VA cannot reduce a rating based on a single exam. A reduction can only take place after 2 unfavorable exams. Remember, in addition to the improvement being significant, it must also be continuous. You must also keep in mind that rules are made to be broken. And according to the Office of Inspector General, the Veteran Benefits Administration has done just that. In the IG's report dated March of 2023, it's made clear that the VA doesn't consistently follow its own rules. For example, veterans with a permanent disability rating not likely to improve were sent to re-examinations out of 60% of the cases studied, even more than cases with less protected ratings. If this video has been informative so far, please like, share, and subscribe. The 10-year rule. According to the 10-year rule, the VA cannot terminate service connection for a disability that has been in place for at least 10 years unless there was evidence of fraud. However, the rating percentage can be reduced to 0%. This law can be found in 38 CFR 3.327 Reexaminations. Let's deal with the bad news first. Under the 10-year rule, a veteran's rating can be taken down to 0%. This means that the severity level for your condition is at the lowest level, and you will receive no monetary compensation. Now let's talk about the good news. Once you have had a service-connected disability for at least 10 years, starting at your award effective date, the service connection for that disability could never be taken away, unless the VA can prove that you received the service connection through fraud. It's important for veterans to realize that with a 0% rating, the VA recognizes your disability as service-connected. And you can't look at it as what you don't have, but you need to look at it as what you do have. Instead of looking at the glass as half empty, you need to see it as half full. Because you are already service connected, all you have to do is file for an increased rating. For more information on the benefits of a 0% rating, watch our video, The Advantages of a 0% Rating. Some of you may be surprised at all the benefits you get at 0%. The 20-year rule. The 20-year rule should be the ultimate goal of all veterans because it offers the most protections from rating reductions and is covered under 38 CFR 3.951 Preservation of Disability Ratings. Under the 20-year rule, your service-connected VA disability must have been rated at or above a specific rating for at least 20 years. And at that point, it can't be reduced unless the rating evaluation was based on fraud. The 20-year rule does not apply to new conditions that develop after the 20-year period. The 20-year period can be interrupted if your condition improves and your rating percentage is lowered. This happens because many medical conditions has the tendencies to fluctuate, or using the medical terminology, wax and wane. For example, you may initially get service connection for major depression, and then the condition gets better. If the VA receives medical information that your condition has improved, it's possible that you might be scheduled for a re-examination of that condition. For clarity, we are talking about your overall or combined percentage rating, which may go up when you get increases and go down when you get decreases in your percentage rating. Let's use another example to explain how the 20-year rule works in practice. The 20 years initially starts when you get your first service connection. So if you received your first service connection January 12, 2000, that becomes the initial start of the 20-year rule. But then, about 4 years later, you're reduced to 30%. As a result, your time resets and your 20-year period starts all over again. In fact, the 20-year period starts over every time you receive a decreased rating. And when we talk about decreased ratings, we're talking about the pay rate, or the amount of VA compensation that you receive every month. So as long as the amount that you're paid every month doesn't go down, there's no reset. The VA code sheet is an excellent way to illustrate how the 20-year rule works. We will continue to use the hypothetical Mr. John Brown to illustrate our point. Mr. Brown is service connected only for post-traumatic stress disorder, and his service connection for this condition started back in 2005. His first rating percentage was 30% for PTSD, dated 2/14/2005. Because Mr. Brown has never had any decreases in his percentage rating, his 20-year anniversary for his 30% will be 2/14/2025. At that point, he could never be reduced below 30%. But then he received an increase of 50% on 2/11/2007. In order to never lose his 50%, he would have to keep his rating all the way to 2/11/2027, thus solidifying the 20-year rule. The same is true for his 70% rating, but we're going to skip over that to avoid redundancy. While having a 70% rating, he filed for unemployability and received individual unemployability, which is a temporary 100%, and was granted it from June 19, 2010. Now at this point, he is paid at the 100% rate, but not actually 100%. He is still 70%. The only factor that is important is that he's paid at the 100% rate for 20 years straight. Then he will fall under the 20-year rule. The fact that he received a 100% permanent and total rating in August 15, 2014 doesn't matter because he was already being paid at the 100% rate for unemployability, and that's where the 20-year time period starts. So according to Mr. Brown's code sheet, if he continued to get paid at the 100% rate without reduction until 6/19/2030, and he did not commit fraud to receive his ratings, at that point he should fall under the protection of the 20-year rule and never face reduction again. But if dealing with the VA was ever just that simple, I know what you're saying. H-Town vet, you wrong this time. You don't know what you're talking about. Once I've had my percentage for 20 years straight with no reduction and no fraud, they can't mess with me. Well, you come to the right place because you're going to get information here at the H-Town vet that you'll receive nowhere else. Remember the 3 goals of the H-Town vet. 1, to facilitate you getting your benefits, 2, to help you get informed about what your benefits are, and 3, to help you protect the benefits that you've earned. In this video, we're focusing on the protection part, so let's get into it. Even with the 20-year protection rule, you still could face reduction if you become incarcerated at a local, state, or federal penal institution. While I am not your bus driver, it's my goal to take you to school today. Just because you become incarcerated does not mean that your protected VA ratings are put at risk. Your VA compensation, protected or otherwise, is put at risk if you spend 61 days incarcerated for a felony crime. In most cases, your percentage rating will be reduced down to 10%. This is how it works. Veterans rated 20 to 100% are limited to a 10% disability rating while they are incarcerated. Veterans with a 10% rating will get half of their pay. At the time of this video, a veteran rated 10% would receive $165.92 a month. While incarcerated, they will only receive half of that amount, $82.96. However, veterans that are in halfway houses or work release programs are not affected, and they will continue to receive their full VA monthly payment. Another exception to being protected under the 20-year rule is being a fugitive of law. Being on the run from law enforcement will affect your benefits and sometimes the benefits of your dependents, because once law enforcement find out that you're receiving benefits in the form of VA compensation, they're going to request that the VA stop sending you payments. Even if they don't, most likely they will freeze your bank accounts. For more information on being a veteran that's facing legal issues, watch our video, Veterans Court. Remember, our ultimate goal is to protect our VA benefits. We have over 50 videos in our library that covers a variety of veteran topics, and thank you for joining us.